It's a busy time in advocacy here at the League of Southeastern Credit Unions and Affiliates, and we wanted to give you an update on what we're doing legislatively with the elections and also going into next year's legislative sessions in both Alabama and Florida. On the elections front, it's a really exciting time, and we have an opportunity to elect a lot of credit union-friendly candidates. In Alabama, we do expect the same 7 congressional members to return to Washington, D.C., but in Florida, we have a few open seats as well as a couple of contested congressional elections, and we expect there to be some turnover in our representatives in Washington, D.C. In the U.S. Senate in Florida, we have a very heavily contested race. After the primary, it is expected that the 2 candidates will be the current U.S. Senator from Florida, Bill Nelson, facing off against the current governor of Florida, Rick Scott. Stay tuned for more information on that race. Also in both states, we'll be electing governors. In Alabama, it is expected that the incumbent governor, Kay Ivey, will get reelected. But in Florida, we have a very heavily contested primary going on, and on August 28th, both the Republicans and Democrats will choose their nominees for governor. Current favorites in the polls for the Democrat is Gwen Graham, former congresswoman from here in Tallahassee, and on the Republican side, Ron DeSantis, a current congressman from the St. Augustine area, is currently leading the polls. We will find out August 28th who the nominees for both parties are, and we expect it to be a very close gubernatorial race, but we will find out in November who the new governor of Florida will be. Also important when it comes to elections is what we're doing at the state legislature. We have several open state legislative seats both in Alabama and Florida, and we are heavily involved, and we're going to need your support. What that means is we really need you guys to support our PACs both in Alabama and Florida. Now is really a great time to get involved, and if you have any questions, please contact Blake in Alabama or Jordan in Florida, and please help us contribute to those PACs. On the legislative side, we've got a lot of activity going on. To start with, we're going to be up in Washington, D.C. on September 12th and 13th for our annual Hike the Hill. We really need our credit unions to join us, and there's a lot of information on our website about the agenda as well as the hotel information, and so please join us in Washington, D.C. We'll be visiting with our congressional members, but also with the NCUA to talk about issues that are important to credit unions. Look for that information and plan to be with us in Washington, D.C. In the coming weeks, you're also going to see a survey about issues that are important to credit unions. This is going to help us drive our legislative agenda for 2019, and we want to make sure that we are being both proactive and defensive for credit unions, making sure that we are fighting for the issues that are important to you. Please be on the lookout for that survey and make sure that you answer that and give us as much feedback as you can. That's going to lead us right into 2019. We've got a lot of exciting activity in 2019. As you know, the legislative sessions begin in March of next year. But even before that, the action will have already started in Washington, D.C. with the new Congress being sworn in January. We will have our annual CUNA GAC. It's a little later next year, so make sure you mark your calendars. It's March 10th through the 13th, so plan to be with us in Washington, D.C. You'll be getting information on the hotels shortly, as well as when it's time to register for CUNA GAC. Right on the heels of CUNA GAC, we'll also be having our state advocacy conferences. We'll start with our Alabama Advocacy Conference and then follow it up the following week with our Florida Advocacy Conference. Please make sure you visit our website for all of the information on how to register for those important grassroots events as well as the hotel information. We really need to see you in Washington, D.C., in Montgomery, and in Tallahassee to bring the credit union message to our lawmakers. We look forward to having you at all these grassroots events and making sure that you join us in our fight to make sure credit unions are well represented in front of our policymakers. Thank you, and if you have any questions, never hesitate to contact me directly.